A warm welcome and good evening for the final round of More Female Races by Thrustmaster Rockets, round 6 at the actually selected racetrack, the Nurburgring. And I'm together again with Jess Ball tonight in the commentary box. Jess, it's like feeling amazing because we have so many great drivers, we have great action on track, but this is the final round. So are you sad a bit?
Yeah, it's a bit bittersweet to be honest, Laura. We had 5 great rounds of this championship, a lot of improvement from the teams and the drivers as well. It comes down to this. 3 classes still yet to have a champion, so it should be very, very close in all of them. And we had a very good race 2 weeks ago in Brands Hatch. It was quite more demanding with the track limits compared to Kyalami just about a month ago, and we will go through the standings for all the classes in right now actually, with Mat 1 Racing actually took another win in Brands Hatch, but this time it was a little bit more comfortably than Kyalami. Kyalami, remember, we saw them, well, have a few disconnection problems, but Alu Gobi had her teammates for company this time, which was good news for her. So they were able to split the running a little bit there. And we saw RHG Female Racing, the number 2 class, actually take second place in the race. And we had Arnage Competition, who finished in 3rd place. So what does that do with the standings? Mat 1 Racing leading the standings with 106 points. Arnage Competition 2nd, 91. RHG Female Racing number 2, 87. Jorna Lacey, they're out of the standings, they're out of the championship now, but I'm sure they're going to have a little bit of fun nonetheless if they are racing tonight. 73 points. The number 1 car of RHG is in 5th position, and I'm sure that the top 2 in the championship is going to be absolutely fascinating to say the least. And we've got MDM class, which has been decided due to one of the drivers, one of the teams, the 46 AM team could not make it today, which means Team Cake, Angel Cake, after getting 3 wins this season, takes the championship win, which was a very well-deserving win for them, but at least they've got some fun. They got 2nd place last week, but it was MIA Esport that actually took the win last week, a few weeks ago for the AM class. They're sitting 3rd in the standings with 84 points, 10 points behind 2nd place Love 46 that can't make it tonight. So if they get a good result tonight, maybe another win, they could actually take 2nd place for them, which is probably not what the 2nd place team want, but I'm sure MI Esports will take that. Line Zap is in 4th position. They got 3rd place 2 weeks ago, and we had High Top Racing in 5th position, 67 points. Team Cake, the other Team Cake car, with 51 points, and there's still 2 more classes, Laura, with some great standings down. I'll let you talk through those.
Yeah, exactly. As we see the Pro M class just a second ago, where we have the number 18 car, Team Cake, Cupcakes, Sarah Fair and Sebastian Händler. Actually now, they can't be missed because they will win whatever happens to them because they are anyway 25 points in the lead. So even if they will fail today, they will be the champions because they have won so many times. So this is really a class where it was up and down. So many people had already a win in this class, and it's good to see that they are now in the first place. We had Denise Joubert and Harry Conway last time in Brands Hatch making the 2nd place before Beata Bochenska and Errol Vere. But here in this Edison XRS team, this is actually Marion Edwards and Shimon Salomon. They hopefully can gain some more points today. And also we have, as I said, Beata Bochenska and Errol Vere for Hot and Spicy, maybe just getting some more points. So this is all open. And when we switch then to the silver class, we had also kind of interesting fights in this one. And as you can see, NSS Racing is now in the lead, and especially what's coming for the championship points. But you can see it's super close. We have 101 point for them before turn 1, and we also have some fans joining here for turn 1, which are in the 2nd position with 92 points, and they have 2 teams at least, Meets, BS Kit and Diablo in the 2nd and 3rd place. But in the silver class, Jenny Kamukli is quite strong with Jerry Lipponen with the number 101, and also the 26 Sarah Moore. She's actually again today with us with Aurelian Cross, and she has been quite busy in her racing when she started as well in the W Series. Series in Austria. So she is already in the German mood, I guess. And Verena May and Trevor Jackson, they were third position last race in Brands Hatch. So it's all up to see what happens in the silver class today. And I would say let's take a look at the Nürburgring. Of course, everybody should know it, but Yvonne van den Berg will do a hot lap for us. So please take.
Hello everyone, welcome to the lap guys for the SimGrid More Female Races, the final round at the Nurburgring. In the first turn, use the white line from the exit from the pit lane, go to first gear and go easy and early on the throttle. Go to second gear, little tap on the brake and go easy on the throttle. Then we go to the Mercedes arena, go to first gear, go to second, little lift, hit the apex and go early and easy on the throttle. Then stay in fourth, brake on the path, go to third, let the car roll, go on the throttle. Then brake to second gear and make sure you got a good exit here. Then for the hairpin, the curves on the left is getting wider and I brake before that. Go to second, let the car roll and then go easy and early on the throttle. For the Michael Schumacher S, a little lift, stay in fourth gear and go early on the throttle to get a good exit. Then braking on the path, go to second gear, go to third, little tap on the brake, back to second and then go to third again. Now for the chicane, there is a little pole on the right. I use that as a braking marker. Go to third gear and then fourth to stabilize the car. For the last turn, I'm using the second gear. I'm Yvonne van den Berg from GTWR RAG Female Racing and I wish all the drivers good luck and enjoy the final round of the More Female.
Yeah, what a lap from Yvonne van den Berg. And actually, she was my teammate when we were in Zolder for another racing league. So she explained it pretty well when it comes to the turning points. And we are already in the qualifying. And we do have, for people who join us newly today at More Female Races, the first 10 minutes for the Pro-Am and the M teams. And then we will have the Pro and Silver teams doing the last 10 minutes of this qualifying. And as we can also see that Josie Austin has already put a lap of 2 minutes, 3:18 together. And we see them on the track quite, spread out all over the place. And they are hunting for the points. Sarah Fair already on the third position. And it's good to see that also the M classes, this is what we just talked about last time, Jess, that the M class are pretty strong. And also I'm still puzzled that our champions, so to say, the married couple, Lubov Ozeretskovskaya and Vladimir Ozeretskovsky, cannot join. So this is really a bummer because they were really strong and already quite up in this leading position. But of course, good to see that we have two classes, as you mentioned, already kind of champions as for tonight. And we are really curious to see how this will turn out for the other classes. And I guess everybody has really kind of train hard as they could. Of course, as it was a publicly voted track, there was not much time left to qualify or to practice for it, but I guess the Nürburgring is really familiar for everyone. So I hope for enough battles on track, and great to see that so many racers are still with us tonight.
Yeah, that's what I like about this track, Laura. I mean, they don't have much time to get into the swing of things, of course, but since it is a low track, the drivers had a bit of a say on what of tracks would go into the pole anyway, so they had a bit of an idea of what tracks they could practice on as well. And it's really a fan favourite of anything as well, because there was so much history as well. And obviously we're paying tribute tonight to the late female legend of Sabine Schmidt, the queen of the Nurburgring, who sadly passed away earlier on this year as well. So she was known for the Nurburgring quite a long time, so I'm sure that whoever wins tonight, that the win will be dedicated to her in her memory as well. And I'm sure that was in some people's minds when the poll was up, that they'll have a race dedicated to that. I think that's probably why I voted for that track as well, but I'm sure it's going to go out with a bang anyway today. Luckily, it's not the Nordschleife because that will take forever. It's a much easier track because some of these drivers have only started sim racing this year as well, and just the improvement that these drivers have been having since the start really has been incredible. We were speaking to one team a few weeks ago that they said they only started sim racing, well, one driver only started sim racing in February. So, and to see that they're actually up to speed with it already, it's just amazing to see how far they come, and imagine what they can do in the finale here tonight. As we can see, Austin still on pole position, 159.7. I expect to see earlier when the silver class comes out. Because the championship is so close, I expect that the silver class in qualifying is going to be this close as well.
Yeah, definitely, because everybody wants to grab the win tonight, and especially also the timings, I guess, are still quite close here on this track. I'm curious how the starting procedure will be, but as you said already, from the third season we have now with the more female racers by Thrustmaster Rockets, it's great to see how they improved, and we also have the joiners from the second season, even the teammates cheering up for their teams. This is also a great community that they just be there together, help each other out, just driving together, even no matter if it's a male, for example, jumping in with a female driver. So this is what we can also line up, or you find another female pair that you have a full female team racing. So this is great that the community is supporting each other. And as we said from the first two seasons, everybody has the same chance in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. And I guess this car is running well on the Nurburgring. And as you said, luckily not the Nordschleife, because that gets kind of a bumpy ride with it. But yeah, the Nurburgring for this one, especially here, is pretty nice. And Denise Joubert, also quite a really good driver with Beata Bocenska as well, now in the fifth place for her Pro-Am team, or in the second one for her behind Sarah Fair. They are all kind of improved and had really fun out there, and we really spoke with them together, no matter if it's kind of a dirty route here in the Goodyear corner. They had fun. This is the most important thing, that you just don't stumble and or be be disappointed, that you really have fun when you drive here, and also that the improvement is pretty good to see. And as you can also see here now, Alice Horton made it up to the second place for Team Cake, Mascara and Hope. And actually she is joined today by our famous Michael Hamlet, who has to jump in the car again. So this is also what we make a good progress. We will watch them definitely.
Yes, Michael Hamlet, I would call him the super sub, because I almost certain that he's filled in for pretty much almost all the classes this season, which gives him experience on racing with different drivers as well. And obviously with people going into different tracks as well, it's going to be a new experience for them. So we'll see what happens, how they cope. I'm sure he will handle the pressure just fine in the Nurburgring, of course, because for some of these drivers, not in the championship fights. It's all about just going out there, having fun and setting a precedent for next season, for more female races as well, to see what they can do to impress the other drivers that may be watching this and may want to have a go as well. And you know, it's just awesome that we're seeing improvements right up the field. The track will be evolving very quickly, and we're starting to see the last of the AM class and the Pro-Am class finishing their lap times, as the Silver and the Pro class are on the track now on their out laps, about to start their first flying laps of the session then. So at the moment then, it looks like Austin will be on pole position once again, but watch out for the Celine Richer as well. She did well last time out in Team Silver. It'll be interesting to see what she does here, of course, as well. And she was looking pretty confident as well. There was some incidents in turn one in a few weeks ago as well, which caused a bit of a pickle with the back markers. So you don't really want to be near the back, but these drivers have got to do all they can, because I'm almost certain that qualifying could be key, because turn one is a heavy braking zone, and it should be interesting to see, Laura.
Yeah, definitely. And also what we see then is the pit stop strategy, which has kind of a notch for some teams then when it's getting tricky, when you have maybe an unexpected pit stop to take early due to kind of failures, which we had unfortunately seen with some technical hiccups. We don't have these hopefully today. And that we have 2 mandatory stops in the stint time of 23 minutes, and where also the females have to do their start and the last stint. Definitely when they are maybe the slowest or the just only female one in the team, just as a reminder of how this will proceed today after we have finished our qualifying. And yeah, timings are coming in quite shortly when they are finished with their kind of out lap and setting the first fast lap, and then we can see where we are in terms of the heat map for the Nurburgring. But I guess it will be definitely super tricky in the first corners and where everybody finds space on track enough. Luckily, Nurburgring is spacious enough where you have the chance, but the first corner, as you mentioned, can get a bit crumbled.
Yeah, and I hope they've learned enough right now with the strategies they've done throughout the last 5 races. I'm sure they'll be absolutely fine, but you never know what could happen. Anything can happen in more female races, and it usually does. And due to the fact that they've got the same spec cars as Super Trofeos as well, it can be quite hefty at times too. So we'll see if they do not find the gravel tracks. There are a lot of gravel traps in the Nurburgring. I've raced a few times on certain games around the Nurburgring. Not ACC though, we already see one driver that's fell victim of the gravel trap, actually 2 as well. So don't be surprised if we see any in the race, but they will be on higher fuel trim in the race, so probably they won't be making too many mistakes. They're just finding the limit right now. This is a great opportunity for these female drivers, because don't forget the females will be doing the qualifying to see where they can gain time and where they can lose time and where they can actually get the overtake done, because this is a really good overtaking spot, and that was why it was probably chosen as well, due to the amount of overtakes you can get around this track. As we're seeing a few drivers about to finish their first laps for the Pro and the Silver class right now. I wonder who's going to be the champion for these 2 classes tonight. I can't call it between the Silver, to be honest, because even the slightest mistakes like we saw a few weeks ago, it can throw the championship wide open, as we're seeing a few people almost getting caught up in the curbs. Then Denise Pope definitely wants a good result this time around, but I'm sure she's going to do everything she can for her team. Of course, her teammate is back this week, which is good news, so I'm sure that she and her teammate are going to do all that they can to climb their way up into the qualifying and make sure they get the pole position. Hopefully no mistakes for the team tonight, and they've got a few more sections of the track to go before they finish off their lap, and currently it's looking quite tight between the Pro and the Silvers right now. Gobi is currently sitting in 3rd overall and is about 1/10 shy of P2 in the AM class, so the AM class is showing the other classes what they could do again. This is great to see, Laura.
Yeah, exactly. And Aluk Gobi, as we said, she is already quite good in her rankings, but I guess she will just pin down some of the timings as well. And also Celine Witcher, Natalie Lee, they all are there where as expected. And we see that also Sarah Doff is now with 1:58.854 in the first place at this moment, and Denise Pope is kind of close behind. So this is where we have seen our favorites, and it was expected that they will be in this time and these places. But as it is tricky, you can have a good qualifying, but then you can just still have a problem in the first phase of this race. And yeah, we will definitely see later on how this works out in terms of strategy wise. It is important that you keep clean also with your timings later on when you have the driver change. And yeah, I think that there are some nerves wrecking today for some drivers, because it's about the championship wins, especially for the Pro and the Silver class.
I think for the ones that still got the championship on the line, they're gonna really fight for the win. But if they see their championship rival scoring lower than them, then it should be interesting to see them being more consistent, I would say, in terms of their results. Because sometimes getting the win may not be... well, if they don't get the win, it won't be too bad for them. But if they get the win, it will definitely solidify their place in the championship, I have to say. I would say the Silver, I think it's more key if you get the win, but than anything, in order for your championship fight to pretty much be in your favour. But we shall see, of course. There's been a few rounds where you don't really have to get the win to succeed, but we've seen in pretty much most of the classes a lot of people getting 3 or 4 wins this season as a team, which I have to say goes to show who is the favourite right now.
Yeah, and as we spoke, Aluk Gobi just nailed it down to 1:57 for the first place before Sarah Doff. So she has to pull it a bit further, pedal to the metal. It's 0.489 seconds behind, but I guess she will have something in her backpack to just, yeah, try to make life's a bit trickier for Alu Gobi. And also Althea Book is quite good up in the 4th place at this moment. And we have seen Denise Pope for the silver class in the 3rd place, and also Cillian Witcher and Sarah Johnson on the 6th and 7th place, with Natalie Lee falling on the 8th. So, and also what you said, Josie Austin, she's still on the 5th place with the M car. So this is where we also have seen in the last years that the M champions sometimes would need to be put into another class. And here we see the close fights on track. Sometimes it's maybe the slipstream they're just trying to get, or they're trying to make a big pressure for the other guys. But depending on the lap times, sometimes it's even better if you have a free lap that you can run as you like around the track, where we had seen in the back some people spinning off of the Michael Schumacher S curves coming up. And here we are back with Sarah Doff and see how this would go. But yeah, she can't improve her timing. It's just behind Alu Gobi.
She does improve actually with her timing. 3 tenths off pole position to Sarah Dubb. Absolutely good lap time from her as well. She's very keen to beat the person who's currently leading the championship, Gobi, and she's not that far off as well. So I wonder what sector she needs to improve on, if it's sector 1, 2 or 3. I'm sure that the number crunching will be happening behind the scenes as well, and I'm sure that she will probably find as much time as she possibly can in the final lap, as once again the track is evolving, of course. And we can see a huge difference between 1st, 2nd in the pro class, and Boke as well in the 150 in 5th position overall, 3rd in the class. Speaking of the silver class, 3 or 4 attempts separate Denise Pope and Erin Rennan in number 7 as well for silver, so that should be interesting as well. And in the Pro-Am as well, that's separated by 1 tenth. So I mean, I did say qualifying was going to be close, Laura, and it definitely is right now, and we don't have long to go, so it is crunch time.
Yeah, exactly. And if she can still make her way up to a fight against Alu Gobi, I'm not quite sure. But they have to bring everything on the tablet today. And probably, as we've seen some yellow corners there, it now is getting green again. We maybe see some timings evolving, but some are already in the pit lane, not trying to make their ways out there. But yeah, let's see how this will pay off. Sarah Johnson already is in the pits as well with Ophelia. She's also there, standing there, not making another move within the qualifying session. But let's see what Natalie Lee is doing here on the 10th place. If she can just be a bit faster as expected and maybe jumps up some more timings on the line. And yes, she did it. So she is now in 6th place. And this is pretty good. And now we see what Sarah Moore is having in her backpack for the last corners she will be taking into the Vidal chicane and then up to the Hyundai N curve, where she can hopefully also improve her timings as she is pretty much on her way to the finish line.
Yeah, so she has to actually get used to being on the sim rig instead of being in the real life racing seat. She was taking part in the W Series in the last couple of weeks, and I have to say, massive shout out from her on the first ever W Series race this season. She actually got 2nd place in the race, which I have to say, when she crossed the line, I was delighted. And if you haven't seen it on Twitter, the reaction from her when she got P2 was priceless. It was so amazing, I have to say. And I have a feeling if these drivers, any of these drivers obviously win the championship, across the line and win the championship, such as Denise Pope, for example, I'm sure they're going to get something similar reaction. I'm sure they're going to be screaming with joy, I have to say. But qualifying is about to end as the top 2 have finished their laps already, so they'll be staying P1 and 2. But Denise Pope, what can she do? She's 1.2 seconds off at the moment. She's currently sitting in silver pole position, is in 4th at the moment, and that is the end of qualifying. And it's Gobi once again on pole position.
Yes, although it's rainy here, but this is not the Nurburgring, although that's normally what's happening on next weekend as well when we go back there on the live track. We just want to see how the sim racing action is gonna take place, and this is what we can see from the standings here. And we will flip through that shortly when we have our final go through and grid walk here on the standings.
Great to see Jane Austen up there as well, once again, showing her craft, like we keep saying as well. And I'm sure that there will be decisions made on what class they'll be going in next season as well. I'm almost certain that Austin will be moving up a class or two. We discuss it every week, right? Which people need to move up a class or two as well. And there might be some people that will be doing the opposite. They may be struggling in the class, and maybe being in a lower class next season may give them the boost that they need to improve on their racecraft potentially, and help them a little bit more as well. So we shall see what the action unfolds, of course, and we are in with some great action tonight. Make sure you do not miss a thing in More Female Racers, sponsored by Thrustmaster Rockets. One of our sponsors at the SimGrid for this series. If you can use the code TMRockets10 for 10% off when purchasing products on the Thrustmaster store. And believe me, there's a lot of good products you can get with Thrustmaster. A lot of people are using the Thrustmaster products now as well. And our other sponsor, ExpressVPN, for all your privacy needs. Yeah, we're not using ExpressVPN anymore, but we're just sponsored by Thrustmaster Rockets, which I have to say has provided some good rigs for everybody. Thank you to Thrustmaster Rockets for all your support this season.
Definitely. And also it's good to have everybody just joining and learning the tracks with Coach Dave Academy, as you mentioned. This is good, where you have at least the last bits and corners you want to just master on the tracks, and great to have the teammates helping each other out and still cheering for them. This is also important that you have your best buddy with you, right? So because what we have seen sometimes in the chat that they were lucky that they at least have people cheering up with them, giving them tips, and also making them calm that everything is all right. Sometimes if they spin, I know how it is, and as you know, as Jess as well, you get just a bit nervous and just trying to make your moves and not panicking on the track. And this is what we've seen. They're pretty consistent and also pretty confident on track, and this is what this series is about, to get more females behind the steering wheel finally, that they just make their way up in sim racing and also having the fun and kind of a fight on track as well, with the elbow tactics be used quite often, as we see. But this is good because it's fair racing, and it's also sometimes hard racing to fight for the position, which is actually key. And also we just waiting for the grid to come up here, and as we see that Alugobi is in the first place with Bruno Cardilli for Map 1 Racing on the first place. Then we have Sarah Doff in her teammate on the second place. Timea Benchik is with her teammate on the 977 with Adam Pinches on the third place for Anaj Competition. Then we have Denise Pope with Rob Taplin on the fourth place, before Natalie Lee and Stavros Konstantinidis for turn one on the fourth place, on the fifth place, sorry. Then we have Sophia Onren in the seventh car on the grid. At sixth place, we have Althea Book in the number 150 together with Giorgio Simonini on the seventh place. Then we have Josie Austin, also quite really good in the rankings, together with her teammate. On the 8th place, Celine Witcher is with a number 100 on the 9th, and Sarah Johnson on the 10th place. And I would say just go from 11th place, Jess.
Yes, 11th place we got the number 13 car of Horton. In 12th place we got Aphelion in the silver class in the 828. We got Sarah Moore in 13th in the number 26 car for the silver class. And then we've got the AM class of Andrad, the number 24 car. We got Fair in the Pro-Am in the number 18 car in 50. We got Benenchka in the 997 in 16. 17 we got May in the 104 in silver class. In the Pro-Am class in 18th we got the Edwards in the 587. Hubert in the Pro-Am class in the number 8 in 19th. We got Bernier in the 300 in the AM class in 20th. 21st we've got the 316 car of the Lab. We got Pierce in the 152 car in number 22. And in last place we got Robertson in the number 11. Both of those cars are in the AM class. So for one final time, Laura, it is time to go racing.
Exactly, but we still have one spot free here, which we have to fill on the grid, and then we should be shortly ready. As you see, the session time is just counting down. Perfect weather conditions. It's the track with 26 degrees outside, and then we have the best weather conditions you can have at the Nurburgring. So lucky drivers, definitely you have all the fun and the action on track. And this is the nice helicopter bird view we have around the paddock and the track. And super excited that we can go on this final round, and also selected where we definitely have the votes from the chat and also the public where they want to see the female racers racing tonight. And this is also good because they had no chance to prepare as much as they normally would, but as we all said, they pretty much know it by heart how this track is supposed to be. So we see the last drivers coming onto their grid position, and then we slowly start with the race. And how is your adrenaline level, Jess?
Oh, I'm already pumped up already, but I'm sure the drivers in the categories which have a title still to be decided, I think are probably more nervous than we are, I have to say. If you were, in particular, I would say the guys in the top 2 of the silver class, because that could go either way tonight, to be honest. So what I would do, to be honest, is maybe have a little bit of music before you start, maybe get a drink of water or something like that, and or just keep yourself calm before the start of the race, just to be sure you're in the right frame of mind as well. Of course, the drivers have their teammates as well for support, so they can give some last-minute encouragement as well, because it's not just about one driver, it's about both drivers as a whole. That is why it's a team event as well, because some teams have team female drivers, some teams have obviously a female driver and a co-driver as well, which is very experienced as well, and I'm sure those drivers will be thanking them a little bit later on as well. 25 seconds left to go until we are on the later stages of this race. Oh my goodness, I just want this race to start and not start in the way, because I don't want the final round to end, but the season has got to come to an end at some point.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's feeling like always time is moving so fast, but as we always like to say, time flies when you have fun, and this is what we definitely had. And thanks as well to you, Jess, joining me here for the premiere of the SimGrid More Female Races by Thrustmaster Rockets, as we are the first female commentary here on the SimGrid. So this is pretty nice that you just joined me. Whoop whoop. Yeah, exactly. The female power is here on track, and also the chat. Thanks as well for you, tuning in and asking questions. And also we have already commentary which says, I prefer the wet Nurburgring. Yes, of course. So maybe that's a good thing for the next time to just improve on the weather conditions. Making unexpected weather a bit more trickier, but maybe that's up for the next round, where you also have adapt to those kind of conditions. But it's good that at least we have now everybody having at least the same car, but also still precising on the setups normally for the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. That's what they have to do today to make it nice, sharp and easy to be driven. And as we see, the formation lap is running quite slowly and easily. I think that many of them have a really high adrenaline level, as we normally also have once we start with commentating on the race, because I'm always like pumped, even if I'm sitting in a car doing sim racing, or if I'm just watching and commentating. It's always super fun.
Oh, someone has spun already in the formation lap, Laura. It's one of the yellow cars. We'll have an idea of which car it's that in a second. So already that car's not got to a good start already this race then. But yeah, our adrenaline levels are definitely pumped. And I believe it's one of the silver class, the number, if I just get it full. It's the number 11 of Robertson, actually, who is now in the pit. So they were having a pit lane start, which is not ideal, but it now allows for everybody else to make their way, warming their tyres up to good perfection as well. And I agree, Laura, I like to see changeable conditions, wet conditions next season. It just makes spice things up even more as well. And, you know, the drivers may have to race in obviously the wet conditions in real life, and the SimGrid prepares you for that, because the ACC is so realistic. So, you know, I would like to see some sort of wet conditions next season. It will definitely spice things up a little bit. I'm not going to predict on who I think is going to win the championship for each class out of the ones we've got remaining, of course, because I'm worried I'm going to get it wrong, especially for the silver class. And we're about to get underway.
Yeah, exactly. The last meters before we then turn everybody in this double grid file, where they just go together to get to their starting positions. And then we have already the double picture in picture, where we see the first corner, which is really good to have, because there we, I guess, see some people going wide for sure. But yeah, now they are lining up in the perfectly double file. And as you said, it's important that you at least warm up the tires and also the brakes. And yeah, no matter if you start from the grid and also the pit lane, you just put the pedal to the metal and you have fun and try to make the best out of this race and enjoy this last final round here for the more female races by Thrustmaster Rockets. And they're just waving a bit in the back, where else Alou Gobi and Zaradov, they're quite cool and just staying clear and sharp on their line, where we turn now in the Hyundai N chicane, and where then soon the race will be started for the female racers here and their teammates together on the beautiful Nurburgring. And the race has been started for this last round here, and everybody has a kind of a good start for the moment. Let's see how turn 1 turns out for everybody, as we already see that some people try to do the inner curve and cutting down the corner, but right now it looks pretty good. Not so many had to go wide, and there had not been any accidents, so pretty clear start for everybody. Well done.
Yeah, we did see a few cars going 3 wide there in the background, and I think I did see another spinner as well in the process. But apart from that, it looks like the front field seems to be okay. And I spoke too soon as a 977 car, Benzik, has gone around, unfortunately. So she has dropped down positions, but the top 2 remain unchanged, with Denise Pope actually going to be taking 3rd place in the overall racing now, due to Benzik now dropping all the way down into 15th position. So she's going to focus on her mindset, getting her way back up. But there's a lot of overtaking opportunities, plenty of opportunities for people to go right or wrong. So, you know, what a shame for her. But you just get unlucky with the dirty air at times, and it could cost you at times. But yeah, Benzik down in 16th. I don't think she's in championship. I don't think she's going to be in a shot with the championship. Obviously, if they stay like this, obviously Gobi has a good chance as well, because obviously some of the teams are out of it. So sure, she's got nothing to lose in the way as well. But you can see Sarah Dove doing a absolutely stellar job at this moment in time in the lead, overtaking the lead from Gobi then in 2nd. So Sarah Dove is going to spoil the party, I have to say, for Gobi, and I'm sure she's going to be the lady to do it. And she's already pulling away, but look at Gobi, she's gaining a little bit on the corners. And even though Sarah Dove had some straight line speed, Gobi does have the cornering speed as they head towards the final corner to start lap 2. Don't forget, Laura, these drivers will have to do 2 stints. They got to swap once for at least a 23-minute stint to their co-driver, and then the female driver must race for the final stint to wrap up the more female races season. So should be interesting there. But yeah, we're seeing some mistakes already, but a lot closer than I've seen in the last couple of races. So it shows that they've learned their lessons from the last few races. So it's great to see.
Yeah, definitely. And also, Alou Gobi, although she just didn't even do the jump start, it doesn't matter. She's close behind Zaradov, and maybe that's also kind of a smart move, that she just keeps her way out of trouble and let Sarah do the lead. And yeah, maybe she can save some fuel and tires. That's also a strategy which we have seen in the past, where we just see Denise Pope on 4th place, also pretty good in her last races and consistent, with some unlucky turns in some ways, but she is good at running in the 4th position right now. And also great to see Sophia Unrun in the 3rd place. We also had seen a spun from in the back from Naomi Bernier. She's now in the last place, but this doesn't matter. She still can be fighting for positions, as she also has a pack on the track behind and before her. Where we just jump to the 9th place with Sarah Johnson here, going really wide into the gravel onto the AstroTurf, but this doesn't matter, as we also see another car spinning in the back, where we have a yellow flag running, where there also are some fights. Even if and this is what we also said, it doesn't matter where you are on track, you always try to be together with your teammates and try to fight for positions, where the number 11 is right stuck at the moment with Charlotte Robinson, but she is moving hopefully now again and can close up to the field. And you see the field in general is super close together.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter where you are, like you said as well. So no matter where you are, you're going to be having some battling, whether you're battling for the lead or podium or the top 10 or even last place, where I usually end up in sim racing. That's why I'm in the commentary box, not on the track. So because if I was on the track, I would probably do a terrible job in ATC, not gonna lie. But we all have to start somewhere as well. As you can see, lots of cars grouping up into turn 1, one of my favourite corners on the circuit. I'm a bit surprised actually that not many people actually made contact in turn 1. It's probably the hardest corners on the circuit to master, and they seem to do that with ease right now as well. But I think we're going to see a lot more moves into turn 1 towards the end, where they're going to take a lot more risk, as we can see Sarah Moore right under pressure with the 977 of Bentic as well. Even though Bentic spun, she still wants to have a little bit of a fight with them drivers to try and see if she can get up closer to the rest of the pro class as she can and get in the overall spacing. She's still going to get some decent points because there's only obviously 4 pros in this field at the moment, so they're still going to go side by side. And look at that, Bentic really good on the brakes there, but Sarah Moore's going to try and get the switch back. Wow, this is great racing between the pair of them as well, and Sarah Moore was like, no, you're not having that move, that 10th place overall is mine. And even though they're not in the same class, they're still going to have a lot of fun, which is really, really great to see. I'm liking this racing. Could Bentic try and go for another lunge into this next corner? Not quite, but she's not hesitating, isn't she? She's taking a lot more risks, and all that is doing is helping her teammate in the latest stint. So it'll be interesting to see how this battle develops later on in the race, Laura.
Yeah, this is what you said. This is crucial to have, as these close fights making it so interesting. And also for the drivers getting in, switching the lines, switching the positions. But this doesn't play off, especially here in the Vidal chicane. But Ole Gobi is just catching up for map 1 racing, as she has 0 seconds behind Sarah Dorf. She's closing the gap as well. Then trying on the outside to outbrake her and maybe turn in a bit earlier. But this doesn't pay off at this stage. Maybe in the next turn where she's close enough together and closing the gap. This is so important that you just find your way and have your fighting buddy on the track, because if you try alone and there is no opponent before you or behind you, then it's going to be a bit of boring. But here they have definitely some fun, and you see the battles especially also on the 10th, 11th, 12th place close together as well here in the 1st and 2nd. So let's see where Alu Gobi makes her way up to the 1st place again. But Saradov, I guess she has something in her way that she can make a move and make her Lamborghini as wide as possible. What she also did right here, defending the line, quite smart, going down into the Goodyear chicane, where she is still in the lead, and Alu Gobi has to find a way to sneak through that little bumpy corner where she has the chance to maybe overtake her or surprise her with another driving line.
Yeah, Sarah Dove's doing a brilliant job in defending, especially the championship leader right now. I'm sure that she must be feeling a lot of pressure now, trying to keep the championship leader of Gobi behind her. I would have probably found it a little bit more difficult as well. But if you're defending her like that, that is crazy and insane, I have to say. So good job to her so far. But at least these two do not have to worry about threats behind her in terms of their own class, because the next car is in P6 overall, and they got quite a decent gap there as well. But if they want to fight for overall positions, the next car's around about 3-4 seconds behind them as well. So if they don't get a move on and maybe challenge for the moves, then probably the silver class will be coming back to bite you or something like that. So we'll see what happens in that regard as well. But we go towards the start finish straight then, and it looks like Gobi has taken the lead.
And also we're just trying to see the replay for that kind of move, as we also seen that in the other situations with the number 977 car with Timia Benchik, there was an issue. But let's maybe see if we have the replay of this move where we just jump around the tracks with Alice Horton right now in the 10th place. But as you see, there is so much going on that also we have to keep our eyes on every single corner. And there's another car spinning around, which is again a cupcake car, I would say, at this point. And yeah, there is a lot going on track.
Yeah, there is as well. I think a few of these drivers are starting to find a bit more of the rhythm as well, and see where you can gain more time to try and catch up to your opponents as well. Maybe in the first few laps they were taking it a little bit more cautious, because, you know, lap 1 is usually a tendency of pushing it a little bit too much as well, which is, you know, so maybe the drivers see what happens. So we'll look at the replay of how Gobi actually takes the race lead then. So final corner then. And yeah, Sarah Dove makes a mistake in the final corner, and Gobi's like, thank you very much, P1 is rightly mine, and that is not good for Sarah Dove, of course. But she's still within 7 tenths of Gobi, so the race win prospect is not over for her. So, but it just goes to show if you make mistakes like that, everyone else could take advantage, and that's what Gobi did.
Yeah, we see what happened to Benji, because that was the point where we just try to see what happened to her, but this is kind of more the replay of the starting situation here, where also then, there were some spinning cars in the first kind of minutes we have seen when the race started, and then we should see where the problem was for Timea at this point, and where she dropped back the place. This was a kind of a nudge together. Yeah, it was a kind of a contact which we had here, but then unfortunate for her that she has to start now as well from the back, because she has dropped down to the 22nd place.
Yeah, what a shame for her at this moment in time. But it's not about how you start, it's how you finish. Other people can make a mistake as well. So the race is far from over for the 977 car. So let's see where she picks up finish. She's still within range of the 316 car as well, so maybe she can have some nice battles with them. And also Leska in the number 82 car in the silver class as well. Usually, sometimes the battles at the back is usually the more exciting as well, because you're fighting for crucial points as well, and because obviously some of the positions you don't you can't really gain from it as well. And even if you're just fighting with members from different classes as well, you could prove to the organisers, well, I deserve to be in a much higher class next season as well. As we're seeing the 587 then in the replay at this moment in time. We're seeing what has happened earlier on. Oh, there was a bit of contact there in the back. I think that's what I was pointing out earlier with a few spins. So what a shame for her, for Edwards down in 18th position. But yeah, mistakes sometimes do come back to bite you, unfortunately, Laura.
Yeah, exactly. And especially, I didn't find it so. I find it interesting that this track is a bit tricky, as it seems, for the Lamborghini. Probably that's all close up here for Robert Leska. She was fighting her way from the back. Now is in the 18th place, overtook here now by our Fast and Furious Timea Benchik, who's trying to get some more points. But look at the livery, actually. That's also what we just still want to mention. It's not also about how the driver's abilities are, it's how the team package is. And sometimes really it's about the team wear and also delivery on the cars. They pay so much detail about everything. It's just not that you just have to get the setup right, but you also pay attention to the details. So this is what I really like. The joiners here really new on the grid, where they are right now fighting on the even last position. Sarah Fair also had a problem where she just dropped now to the 23rd place. But we are jumping back to the 5th now, which is Natalie Lee chasing down Denise Pope and Sophia Unrun.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very tense as well, especially in these next few corners where some of them are quite narrow, but there's plenty of straights where you could get the move done as well. And I mean, that's going to be very, very spicy at the end if these guys keep on fighting with this train as well. And I'm almost certain that the train's going to keep growing and growing and growing, and especially with Andy versus Edwards as well. I wonder what Andy is thinking in the cockpit right now as well. And I have to say, I love the dog in her livery at the moment. It looks pretty good for any dog lovers out there as well. But it's interesting to see that we already seen the improvement from these drivers, like that some of them are used to being at the back, but we're seeing drivers that weren't usually in the back, like the AM classes, especially like Horton, Andrade, Austin. They're now near the front now, and we're seeing the improvement race in, race out as well. And it just goes to show anyone can do it. You could start off as low as ability as anything, like myself, and then if you have the right practice, you have the right mindset, you want to get better, then you could learn to be one of the best. And this is what these drivers are going to try and do. And it's not very long before these drivers will be taking a break and will be letting their teammates do all the hard work for the next 20 minutes. But for now, it'll be the last 6 minutes, or well, the last six to 10 minutes or so of pure racing. And this is great, as Austin from Team Cake, Angel Cake, where we're used to seeing her lead in the AM class. She is currently in third in the AM class, with Horton is currently leading that. by 4.1 seconds over Andrade as well. But Austin wants to get second place so bad. She can sense it, she could taste it, she can feel it. She's going to go for the move. She's right on the back of the 24 car. They're going to go side by side. We're going to see one of the first moves into turn one, like I've seen in a long time. Cut into the pit exit they go then, and look at Josie Austin. She takes the race lead, second place in the AM class. Amazing stuff from her. I wonder if she's going to try and close into Horton, who is leading the AM class right now. But that move, she made it look easy, didn't she?
Yeah, it was a good move, and especially the flashlights are the best friends of every sim racer and also real racer. So that's pretty good to see that she is kind of saying, "Hi guys, I'm in your back, just get out of my way." But still, she made it pretty clear that she is fast enough and just stuck that also the slipstream. Very good overtaking point here. So also that she just got the braking point right for the first corner, so that was pretty clear. And Timea Benchik is fighting her way through the pack again, now in 13th place. Some people just give up quite freely, as she is really fast driver, fast and furious as we said, but she makes her way up again now in the ranking. And Sarah Moore as well here. Oh! No! Whoa, but this was a car handling, is oversteering and kind of getting sideways into this corner. Good car handling that she just comes in there, but maybe that was not expected from the 82 car, that she just would try it here in that corner. But yeah, she has to try it in the next one. But good that her car is still running, and now she has to close the gap. And behind those two, there is also a close fight with Andy Lab still chasing down Edwards. So this is all over the place, and I really like that we have so many fights across the entire field.
Yeah, it's amazing to see, isn't it? On the final race too as well. It's like they've been finding all the tricks in a book to put on a show for us in the final race as well. And it's been close all season, I have to say, but this race has been phenomenal. So thank you to everybody that's voted Nurburgring for the final race, because don't forget, this was the track that was voted for the most popular, as voted by you guys on Twitter and Facebook. You guys voted for this track as well, and to be honest, I think this is proof on why this is one of the greatest tracks on ACC, in my opinion, due to the it is difficult, but there's lots of great overtaking opportunities. Now Sarah Moore needs to fight back here. She had a spin earlier on, but I'm sure she's going to be hungrier to get that position back from Leska then, which is going to be tight. Austin, we saw get the move done earlier into turn one, but she's going to play it safe for now. She doesn't want any more contact. I'm very lucky for her that she hasn't got as much damage from that spin as well. Sarah Moore almost gave me a heart attack, not gonna lie, but there we go. I'm sure she's experienced more heart-breaking moments like that in real life racing, of course, so that's why she's not giving up and keeping going, of course, because she has experience of making her way from down in 17th position, for example, overall, to high up in the standing. So this is not over her, of course, but we're currently riding on board with Sophie Aaron. This is a battle, Laura, for the silver race lead.
Yeah, and also the third and fourth place, so it doesn't really matter where they are on track, and Denise Pope has to really stretch her legs to get in front of her, because the gap is closing in 0.3 seconds, and still in the back they just taking Natalie Lee with them together. So if they just be fighting with each other, then Natalie is also the lucky winner there, closing the gap, because she's in the third place for the silver class and fifth right now. To see that they are all closing in. But let's see where Sophie can maybe make the move down this main straight. She's trying to dig in, but Denise Pope just cut a line and made it clear that this is her way of moving into turn one. There was no chance for Sophie. She just stuck her nose in to that corner for an overtake situation. But yeah, let's see how that goes. Althea Book already is in the pit lane, as we also see Edwards coming in to the pits already. So we have some maybe overcuts, undercut situations in the different classes. But here we have still the fight for the position in the silver class 1, 2 and 3, which is position on the grid 3, 4 and 5.
Yeah, not that long to go before the drivers will be fighting for positions with their teammates, of course, as well. So the more that they gain positions now, it will help their teammates in the long run. As we're seeing a few drivers going into the pits now. We've got Bentic in the 977. We've got Hubert in at the number 8. We also got the 26 of Sarah Moore. And we've got the Lab, the 316. We've got Bernier as well. We've got one of the pro class drivers, Brooke, who is in the pit as well. So I wonder what strategy will be the best around this track. Will they be pitting nice and early before their rivals, just like these drivers are, to gain advantage, or will they be the ones that will be not benefiting as much? It is quite early though for some of these drivers though, so that is interesting, but I'm sure that they'll probably be doing a longer stint maybe towards the end for some of these drivers as well, or maybe they might have got a bit of damage potentially and just want to just drive without any damage. We shall see, of course, but yeah, well done to the drivers so far for keeping it clean at the front as well, and it's now about the other drivers' turn to really start to put the hammer down and to really gain as much positions as they possibly can, as we saw Aaron now into the pits too.
Yes, she made her undercut situation clear. Maybe that is a good position now, because if you fight on track and you maybe lose some time, this is a good thing, especially when you come out in the pack. That's the most critical point right now, where you have the chance to get within a good field position, that you have nobody in front of you, or kind of a pack where you just come back into the pit or on the track. So as you see, the track map is kind of full all over the place. You have to be really sure that your timings are quite right. And we also see that Celine Witcher is in the pit lane, Ava de Andrade is in the pit lane, and also Alice Horton. So they are coming in, and we are at the 20th place with Shimon Zeleman. So our actually quite, yeah, kind of a second team in the place with Marion Edwards. So Shimon has taken over the steering wheel on this 587 car and just trying to make up. And we have seen a drive-through from Sarah Moore. This can't be happening. Oh my God, this is really... she had already the problem with the damage she might have on her car, and now she's getting the drive-through, which is really a pity. That costs her a lot of time, but yeah, let's see how this will play out in the end, and hopefully that is not making it even worse for them. But I know that it's a strong team, so maybe they can still fight back on track. Where we are now in the 26 car with Aurelian Cross, she has taken over the steering wheel from Sarah Moore.
Yeah, and what a shame for the 26 car to get a drive through right off the bat as well. You have to serve it within a decent amount of time to avoid disqualification from the race, which is going to probably put you right down the order as well, last in class and maybe last overall if you're not careful too. So what a shame for the team there as well, but I'm sure that the other teams will be taking advantage of that as well and be learning from their mistakes, and they'll be like, right, I'm not going to do the same and get a drive-through penalty. So we're seeing Gobi, Sarah Dove and Denise Pope into the pits as well, as they change to their teammates' turn at the wheel as well, and seeing what they could do. All three of them pitting at the same time as well, so they're not going to benefit from the undercut strategy on each other, of course, but at least they're going to have some clean air maybe on the track, or will they come out in traffic? We'll have to wait and see, as we're seeing Michael Hamlet now on the track for Team Kate Mascara and Hope, as he's fitting in for the 13 car tonight in the AM class.
Yeah, and this is also where we had seen a bit for Sabine sticker on the car, which is really nice that they are driving and all the others are driving for the famous Nurburgring lady. And this is great to see that he has a kind of good car feeling, as some corners were taken in kind of a drifting mode. But this is good to see that they have fun on track, and Bruno Cadille is here in the car for the 21 racing together tonight with Alu Gobi, and there are still in a good position where all the others, Natalie Lee and all the rest, is coming into the pit lane. And soon we have our clear situation where everybody has pitted, and then we see where the standings are at this point in time. Not so many are still driving into the pits, because most of them have done it, but still the mid-pack field has to go and get new drivers. But we have seen so many, especially on the 82. We will need a change, and Sebastian Handler is also in the car for number 18. And we see kind of great steering techniques, and also good that we have the onboard coming up. And yeah, Daniel Austins is now really hitting the pedal to the metal.
Yeah, look at that train between the 316. We also got the 997 and the number 8 as well, all in the Pro-Am class as well. So points mean anything right now. So Austin is probably in a good position, because if the other two cars in front of them make mistakes, he could be like, right, I'm gaining that position as well. But he's probably going to be the patient game right now as well. If he sees Barry, for example, taking a different line potentially as well, and he could possibly do a send maybe as well, that could be a potential as well. You've got to learn where the driver's racing line potential is as well, but I'm sure Austin will be very clear and knowledgeable on the drivers anyway, and have done some very good research. And like I said as well, they haven't had much time to practice, but obviously for the majority of these co-drivers, they've had a lot of practice around this track in other series, in the SimGrid and in other sim racing series on ACC too. So they've given a lot of experience to the female drivers that have just raced as well, and given them some top tips, and now they're going to show us all how it's done, of course. And just a quick reminder as well, the yellow means they still have to do their stops, so if they just have one, which means they have one more stop to go, but the likes of let's go for example, the number 82, they have to do 2 more stops to count with a driver change. We're seeing Austin today's not waiting around, isn't he? I thought he was going to be patient for a minute, Laura, but no, he just wants to get the job done nice and early. But we'll see if that position pays off, or I wonder if he should have backed off potentially. We shall see, but this is racing.
Yeah, exactly. And Errol is just not giving up the space. He just wants to gain the 13th position. And as you said, the hype train is running. So this is what we can definitely say here. The gaps are closing in, and these guys are fighting on track and have hot and spicy enough sausage in their cars. No, it's just they have the fire under their seat, I would say, to get everything out of this Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. Kind of, yeah, I will say, a good steering angle here, kind of cutting the way for Errol so that he cannot really turn in earlier. This is also the nice and easy how many different racing tracks does the Nurburgring have situation. Yes, there are so many driving lines, especially around those corners, and you can make your car as wide as you potentially like. It looks like a bus then, and there is literally no chance to overtake, but it's great to see that they three are so close together on the track.
Yeah, it is as well, and it's about not where you start, it's where you finish as well. So that is what Very is trying to do, seeing where Conway's going to make the move, and he's going to respond to that quite nicely indeed. And the more points, the better, because even though some of the classes are decided in terms of the championship, they still want to have some fun, because the runner-up positions are still yet to be decided in some of the classes as well. So pretty much all the classes now as well. So that is still on the table too, because you want some pride in there too. Even though you're not in the championship fight, you can still be in the runner-up spot as well. You don't want to be the one that loses out by maybe a singular point or anything like that. So every position counts for Very, as it seems right now, as he's only a few tenths off of Conway now, which is intense as well, as we're seeing a battle between Vanderberg against Adam Pinches for a position, and what a great move into the final corner there as well. We're seeing a lot of moves being made into the final corner, and a few mistakes as well for some of the drivers too, which is allowing some of the other drivers to take advantage like we saw earlier. So we're starting to see a very busy point of the race. This kind of reminds me of lots of other races where it's been quite quiet at the start but really busy towards the middle. You sometimes don't get that in other series. This is what is great about more female races. Then we're seeing Austin's trying to go for them. Maybe it's almost going to be 3 wide, and they make contact, and Austin has gone for a spin there. That was very, very unlucky. 3 wide into turn 1, unfortunately, does not mix.
I just didn't want to jinx it, but I just saw that coming, because if you just try to make the cut there, it could happen that your teammates or the other drivers around the track don't see it. Especially here, you have to be patient sometimes, because when you are, depending on what kind of setup you have at home, it's sometimes tricky to see where cars are on track, where we definitely have a good pairing here. Sebastian Handler is trying to defend his line, and yeah, the overtake from Pierce is going to happen, but maybe Sebastian is kicking back. This is quite a of a nice line change they have here in the pairing together. And yeah, Sebastian is just keeping up with Team K Cupcakes, and they can be just pretty easy driving, no mistakes, because they're anyway the Pro-Am leaders. So he takes it easy and hope for no damage. And depending on the mistakes maybe the driver in front of him is doing with Nathan Pierce, that would be a good chance to get some more points, but they can be quite lucky off. But still, it's great to see that we have these kind of close fights around the track, and Sebastian is still closing in.
Yeah, he's closing in by the second, and I want to find out as well what laps he's been putting him in as well, because you have to be good in one lap pace in terms of qualifying, but in the race you got to be consistent in more than one lap. If you just put one good lap and then you have a few more horrible laps, so you just got to lose so many seconds per lap to the car behind, and they could be like boom, they could potentially gain over you as well. So we're seeing the lap times coming in from some of the drivers as they start their potential 15th lap very soon. A majority of drivers are in, I would say, the 158s, 159s, whereas a race leader is in the 158.9 right now, which I have to say is insane compared to everybody else. Everybody else in the 159, so that just goes to show why he is their team is leading in the obviously pro class at the moment in this race. But let's see what Handler can do on pits. Again, this is not for actual position in terms of class, but this is for overall position, and you get points based on class position, not overall position. But surely you're going to fight this run, right? Because obviously Handler is last in the class, I believe. So you want to see what you could do to try and climb your way up the field to see if you can get close to the likes of Solomon and Austin's down in 16th and 15th position. And with Austin having that spin earlier, maybe Handler could catch back up again.
Yeah, and also the good thing is, and as we spoke about the other races we had the chance to commentate on, funny thing is, sometimes the second stint where the other drivers, female, male, or whoever is racing then, even keep maybe the pressure up quite today. I feel it's a bit kind of restricted in terms of overtaking situations. They are kind of calm and trying to be smooth and easy. So I guess that the last round or the last 23 minutes will be furious again. Right now here it's a bit, when you just look on the track back, the gaps, besides now our duo here, Sebastian and Nathan Pierce are closing in, but the rest is kind of really relaxed through the field, besides Adam Pinches on place 8 and 7. But this is kind of interesting because normally the second stint is also kind of really hot and spicy, I would say, in terms of the overtaking situations. But here maybe let's look what they have in mind, maybe saving some fuel.
Yes, I think we've seen a few occasions this season where, in particular with Austin a few weeks ago, where we saw her run out of fuel. But luckily she was able to still gain some points anyway. But there could be some situations where they won't be so lucky and they ran out of fuel a little bit earlier than the final few corners. So let's hope they've done their fuel calculations right in this final race. But I know some of these drivers like to put less fuel in the car than they intended, but that means they've got to save more fuel maybe in the middle stint potentially as well, so they have enough opportunities to push in the first and the final stint. I don't like having less fuel in the car than intended, because that's just awful. So if I were you, I'll try and calculate it properly so you know you have enough fuel to save and enough fuel to push in the critical moments of the race. And we're seeing two cars going side by side. I think that's both the R8G cars, both in different classes, which is great to see. As Sherrod, the Team Silver in the silver class, is now in P2, with Sulzwak now in P3 overall, but still P2 in class. But that is great to see. Pure respect from both the R8G cars. They're in the same organisation, of course, but they are in different teams, in different classes, scoring for different reasons. So, but I'm sure they're in different classes anyway. They're probably just having a bit of fun, I can tell you that. But it's nice to have different cars in the same organisation as well. You can learn best practice in the way and see what people have done right and what people have done wrong as well. And obviously there may be some drivers that and teams that are looking at this series and thinking, hang on, maybe I can sign one of these drivers into a team potentially for future ACC series as well, because they can progress up to some more competitive leagues as well in the SimGrid. We have a lot of them at the moment, which is amazing, as we're seeing Sebastian Handler going for a move, and they made a little bit of contact just before the curve, and Sebastian Handler has gone onto the gravel there. Again, that looked a bit too optimistic there, because there was this tricky curbing, unfortunately, but hopefully it's not damaged there. But what do you think about that, Laura? Was it too optimistic there?
Yeah, I was just trying to close my eyes because I saw that coming as well, and thought, okay, right now, I mean, you need to try, right? There is always the chance where you just try, okay, I just sneak myself in and maybe make the move. But he's fair enough to say, okay, I just do it in the clear kind of way, and go behind Nathan again and try to do it in another corner. As you see, sometimes it's tricky when you just follow your opponent in the front, and you have to really make sure. Sometimes they drive exactly the same line, and you have no way of just surprising them. Even if you change your line, they're really kind of trying to defend it as best as they can. And I have to say, I'm also kind of a tank. If I'm on the track, I'm just trying to defend my line quite extensive, and this is also good to see. Nathan Pierce is really on the edge of every curb and makes it as tricky as possible for Sebastian, and he has to just now read it of how there is maybe a slight movement, a slight outbraking opportunity for him to just overtake. But yeah, he has to try at some point, but they are close enough together, and it is good racing what they see and show us for everybody here on the SimGrid and also the more female races. This is what we want to see, that you can have fun on track and be precise, especially if there is no paper space between the cars. This is what we definitely don't see here in some points. And yeah, the gap is 0.172. So let's see what Sebastian picks out of his car.
Yeah, he's got to be, I think, a bit more patient and knowing when to go for moves, because that was a little bit risky. I'm sure a few people in the chat could definitely agree with us, I have to say. And I'm liking the fact that they have Handler's car has Fourth Sabrine at the back, and Handler had a bit of a slide there. His day has gone from bad to worse, unfortunately, for Team Cake Cupcakes. Unfortunately, you take risks, and that is why you end up lower down in the grid, unfortunately. But let's see if his team could pick up from that. That was a bit unfortunate as well, unfortunately. I think I just jinxed him a little bit there. But wow, look at this. A 3-car fight, as it seems, for P12 on the grid. We got Monster in the AM class, Conway in the Pro-Am, and Vere as well, not that far behind. This is insane, to say the least. Again, two different class fighting out as well, but here comes Conway showing the speed as well, and they're not making any contact as well whatsoever. Both of the cars trying to leave as much space as they can, but we got two of the RAG female racing teams going side by side into the first corner in the start finish straight. Then let's see if they can leave as much space as they can. They am as well. They're not turning into each other. They're making sure that they can fight cleanly on the track, heading towards turn 2 and 3. Nicely done from the pair of them as well. They respect each other. They're keeping it calm as well, and they know when to go for moves as well. But my oh my, this is shaping up to be good. And speaking of time, we only got 22 minutes after the race. Where has the time gone, Laura?
I don't know. Sometimes it really slips out of our hands, and as we are kind of looking at the times, we have now the pace picking up, and this is what I would like to see, especially in the last minutes. And then they have to come to the pit lane, right? So the pit stops are getting now in the pit stop window, and they just have so many fights on track. You actually don't want to come into the pit lane, because you are on the track fighting with your peers. And there's a tough move and a tough decision then to make the final call, where you put your teammate into the pit lane again. But Aerovere, he's really kind of closing in with hot and spicy, maybe just making a bit now relaxed in terms of the gap between Conway. Also, it's depending on the heat. We have 1 degree up in the track, which should not be a problem for the tires. But we have seen that some cars, especially when you are too early on the power, they kind of beastie today, trying to either drift or spin around. So maybe that's also the last bits and pieces where it makes it a bit tricky. But yeah, nice to see that we have these close fights now getting a bit more furious drivers on the track. But a pity that we have the 10 seconds for Danny Austin's with the 316 car. But yeah, right now it's still the race control was kind of nice, and also as we've seen, the drivers are fair on track, giving each other the space back if they had not a nice overtaking situation. But here again, yeah, Errol Verey has to make a move if he wants to, or maybe they come into the pit lane shortly.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be that long before they go into the pits, because we've got 20 minutes left to go. They could come in any time from now and serve their stops. They've got to do a good enough stint in order to do that first course and make sure that the female is ready to go, of course, because they've hopefully rested enough whilst they've been watching their co-drivers. Maybe these drivers have been helping the co-drivers as well, giving them tips on how they cope with the track conditions as well. It's quite optimum at the moment, but a lot of rubber is on the track right now as well, with a lot of cars on the track, so it may be a lot more different when they go out just a little bit later on. So both of the teams will be advising each other on how to best cope with the situation. But meanwhile, the Dutchman are very hot and spicy. Could this be the chance he goes for the move now past into turn 1 from Conway? Nope, he cannot. He doesn't want to take too many risks as of yet. Would he go for a move before the pit stops? We shall see. There's plenty of corners where you could go for the move before the pit stop, so it is doable at the end of the day, but you don't want to make a move too late because it could affect your pit stop strategy, especially since you're in the same class. I think this is a really interesting group of cars as well, which could go for as many points as possible and for potential runner-up spots as well. We've seen the first few cars into the pits. Once again, the 587 car Salomon and the 24 car Monster, they're in the pit for one final time, and we've got Gobi, 21 car of Kalajic in the pits as well, and Gobi will be in the car in just a few moments time to finish the job off. And basically, if she wins the race, if she finishes where she will be champion for the team, which to be honest, no pressure there.
Yeah, no pressure, of course. That's what we sometimes say is jinxing from the commentary box. But yeah, we hope that she can stick to the good pace. They had 12 seconds gap once they come into the pit lane, so quite enough space to make the moves. And yeah, Errol Verey, he still doesn't want to overtake, I guess. He maybe just stays in the slipstream and just sees what Conway is doing in the front, and maybe they come in shortly together. And this is also where it comes to the undercut over situation. They can do that, but let's see what the strategy books and the team captains have made out for that. And yes, this is the situation where now Verey just tries to make a clean lap and hopefully can close the gap, and this would be then the situation where he can overtake in the pit lane if he has really now a lap nailed down, where we see Yuri Turkia in the 888 sitting in that car and trying to chase down the teammate in the other one before them, which is the 828.
Yeah, again, the RAG Esports drivers showing what they're made of, I have to say, in different classes, but from different drivers. So, you know, this is just gold in the commentary box. We get to see people racing at their craft every single time in the More Film Races, sponsored by Thrustmaster Rockets, who has been our sponsor all season. So thank you very much to them. And we're seeing a few teams that have green by their number and class, which means that they've done the necessary stints that they needed to, and that means they won't need to stop again. I think we're just waiting for the top 6 on track to pit, and then we've got some of the midfield to pit as well. I'm interested about the number 82. I think Lesko is probably driving alone tonight, if I'm not mistaken, because it's still saying 2 under her name, or it may just be that they have technical difficulties. I'm not entirely sure, but yes, hopefully we won't see a similar situation to what we saw with Gobi, but luckily Gobi actually took the race win in Kyalami, so it's possible. But if you do race on your own, for an unfortunate reason, you will have to change tyres as well to simulate a driver swap. So at least that will be taken into account. We'll find out what's happening with the 82 car. I think she may be driving alone. Not entirely sure, or hopefully not connection issues, but we will see. Sharon goes into the pits now in the number 7 car. I wonder if the other cars in the silver class will be following suit, Laura.
Yeah, so this is kind of last 60 minutes, which are pretty interesting for us as well to see who is then in the final lead for the championship. But the lead on track, this is definitely, in some classes not really clear because the gaps are close together and everybody's just fighting for position. Where we see Ali Gobi is now back in the car. She's now running on 6, but as the others are still pitting, this will shortly change. And also very still in the box with Corbin, and we are with Roberto Lesca. And this is the livery spoke before, which is kind of the Tiger one, and maybe that's a single driver because right now coming out of the pit lane, still the 2 pit stops have not counted. So maybe that's the one. It's just a new joiner team for today. Hopefully we can figure out what was the problem here, and it would be a pity if this is completely not counted because she has pretty done a good race, and especially if you do have to do this on the own. We had already seen that with Alugobi in the last, where you had no chance. It was I guess with I think it was with her where we had no chance to swap in between. And sometimes you have to do the full stint, which can be kind of demanding. But here, as you said, as time flies, it's so interesting. And as you have your pressure up anyway, your adrenaline rush is there. You just actually don't want to step out of the car. This is how I normally feel. But it's quite tricky if you are new in the series and you have to just set up your strategy and make the tire pressures right besides driving. It can be a bit overwhelming, but they have really done their best on track not to lose the time when you set up everything for your car perfectly right. And Roberta is still driving on her way. And then, let's see when everybody else is coming into the pit lane, last bits and pieces, especially in the front row with Yvonne van den Berg, Yuri Turkia, Konstantinidis still pitting now. And then we should have our clear map on track.
Yes, I think it is problems for the 82 car that the team has been facing, unfortunately. So what a shame, but at least hopefully they'll be able to get around with it very, very soon. But for the other teams, they're going to make in their final pit stop. We've got the 102, the 888 and the 828 cars making their final stop. So you'll soon see a green next to their driver numbers, which means they would have done the necessary stints, which will be great to see. And I'm sure Corbin will be going into the pits very, very soon as well for their driver change too. As we're seeing some interesting developments as well in terms of the race speed.
Yeah, we see what Denise Pope is kind of trying to do, catching up. Althea Book now still in the first place. But that would be now an interesting point because she is right now counting for the number 1. So we had kind of the swaps in the pit lane, and this is interesting to see where we end up with Alugobi being now in the 3rd place according to the standings, and Saradov on the 2nd place. So Althea Book has made kind of a run in the middle sector and also with her teammates. We have seen the kind of slipstream pairings with the teammates giving each other some help, which puts now the 21 car in 3rd position. So that was kind of a clever move to drive together. And for Althea Book, this is now driving as hell here on the Nurburgring with 1.168 seconds behind Saradov. She's not giving up, and Ava de Andrade on the 15th place is now in the 2nd position after Alice Horton on the M car with number 13.
Yeah, indeed. I was not expecting for the order to change that much in the final stops. I thought it would have changed a bit more in the first stops where their co-drivers came in, but no, it's changed on the final stops as well. So it shows that the undercut means everything to some of the drivers as well, and Sarah Dove is now ahead of Gobi again, which is interesting to say the least. So that could be very, very interesting in terms of some spots in the championship. That means I have to do some math, which I am not going to like one bit, but we will see. But that just makes things closer than ever. Oh no! No, it can't be. 15-second penalty for our championship leaders.
Yeah, this is sometimes pretty bad when this is hitting you as well, because could be then from the system, and it could also be a drive-through, which, I mean, at least a 15 seconds penalty time coming from our race control. But it was avoidable contact on lap 22, as we just got from our lovely voice in the background, which you always want to mention, our great staff in the back helping us with the pictures and also bringing this broadcast to life. Michael Yao, thanks as well for your timing here, and also Michael Hamlet, who is still racing. He's always on our wing side, and we still have to thank some others later on when we finish the stream. But here there are no praying hands for Sarah Johnson. She has to do her move, her way herself, trying to beat the 0.29 seconds between Corbin in front of her. But yeah, we see that the gaps are between many of those cars on the track are still really close, even with Roberta Leska in the last pack of the place number 19, and also especially in the front row where Savadov and Alugobi are trying to catch up. But still here the gaps are closing in, and it would be really interesting to see where also then the 15 seconds penalty comes into play for Alugobi, which is kind of, making the math a bit trickier for us as well in the championship points. But this is how you handle it in the race as well. And then we see that, Jenny Kamrugli unfortunately couldn't join today, but she's still listening and just watching the race, and she's sad to participate, that she couldn't participate in this one. And we see the replay here, which has been mentioned. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I can see why.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, she was waiting still, but this cost some points, and also the others came by and stopped by, although she waited for this kind of situation. Yeah, that is what the race control mentioned, has to be the 15 seconds penalty. But yeah, it has now been everything for her. Maybe she can close in and try to gain the lead and get in front of everybody, but it has to be nice and clean.
Yeah, exactly. So the number one car of Thea Book is currently in P2 at the moment, and Sarah Dove actually is now your race leader, and Sarah Dove is the number 2, and they're currently sitting in 3rd place right now. So I'm almost certain that if Sarah Dove finishes where she is at the moment, she will probably take 2nd place away from Arnage Competition, who have had a bit of a spin earlier. Don't forget the 977, but the 977 has had a good comeback in 6th place overall, so fair play to the 977 car of Arnage Competition for not giving up whenever they can, and just still providing us some good racing. They could still come up with some decent points at the end of this as well. They could technically still be in the podium spots, but we'll have to wait. Obviously John Lacey is not racing tonight, so yeah, I'm almost certain that they will be finishing in 3rd place. But I think Gobi should be fine to beat Arno's Competition, but it's going to be close, I think, between Gobi and Sarah Dove. I can't call it right now on who's going to be champion, but that's why I'm going to do some maths in the background later on the final lap to make sure we found the right champion. There's always almost a bump that the drivers had to face there just now with the R8G car. Luckily, it didn't end in tears right now, but we'll see with Gobi then, as Gobi is not giving up. She's very, very quick in a straight line, and she's trying to get past Book in 2nd place, I have to say. Some good comeback drives for most people in the field today, and this championship means everything. If they still got some points on the line, they're going to go for it, and they're giving it all they can on the final few moments of this race. 7.5 minutes left to go of the More Female Races Season 3, and we've still got championships to decide. Don't forget the class has already been decided, and the Pro-Am class as well, but we've still got the Pro and the Silver to decide who's going to be champions tonight. The Silver class, don't forget, it will separate by about 9 points for tonight, and we're interested to see what the gap is after the races has ended as well. It's currently the number 7 that's leading the Silver class, with Denise Pope in 2nd.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see that Alugobi is really pushing hard, trying to overtake the situation, but Althea Book is clever enough to just cover herself with that kind of overtaking opportunity. She's trying to get away from Alugobi, but I know how this is. You're just boiling hot as you just normally want to do that, and you see that she's really racing at the edge with her Lamborghini and trying to just close the gap and then making the 50 seconds somewhere disappear. But yeah, I can see the frustration, and hopefully she's making it smooth and easy and not just losing the car on the edge of racing, but maybe she just closing in on the gap here with Altiabrook together. And yeah, we have still 6 minutes left, and you should see the different kind of defending lines coming into play into the Vidal chicane and up the Hyundai N chicane. And maybe she can close in there and make a good smooth and exit here to just have enough slipstream down the main straight, and then could be making a move into turn 1. And we also have some still fights back on track, but this is where the closest is at the moment, where we of course stay, because this is about the podium in this race. She's trying on the inside line, and this was kind of a last minute move, but now she has to really close it. Yes, this was pretty good. Perfectly done for Ali Gobi here. She's going in now in second place.
Yeah, she needed to do that. She needed to get rid of that deficit to that 15-second stop go that she received earlier on. There's a bit of a slide there from Gobi. Oh no! If that penalty was bad enough, she got caught up in an incident, and now she's going to drop way down. And I think someone else got caught up as well with that. My oh my, that is a shame. You can't let the penalty throw at you. You got to concentrate on the rest of the race, and I think that's what Gobi has not done, unfortunately. That was a slide. It looked like she was going to lose it there with that slide, and I was right there, unfortunately. But that's going to give the R8G Esports car a little bit of breathing space for both of them as well. And she's dropped down into 4th position, which is going to be actually P3 in class. And interesting enough as well, we got the likes of Benzik not that far behind too. So with that 15-second penalty that Gobi has had as well. So this could change everything in terms of standings now. With do you think? I'm not sure with the maths. Gobi could lose out on the championship. We don't know, or it could be. It could. She should be fine. I'm not entirely sure, but if she keeps making mistakes like that, the championship's over for her.
Like a drama in the end. I'm just sometimes your speech is sitting there, just like I didn't jinx it, but. You just feel kind of so sad for everybody, where here also Sophia Unrun is kind of making another line here down the Vidal chicane, but not a problem here. She still comes out in front of the cars behind her, so that's also not a problem with being her in the 3rd place. But yeah, this is hard to get the feeling what Denise Pope must be having in right now, and Alu Gobi as well, when she's seeing the ladies dropping down to 5th place. Alu, I don't want to be in her shoes right now. Hopefully the teammate is giving her enough confidence and making her feel comfortable to find her way back in the concentration on track, because she had been really, really confident in the other races. And as you push so hard, I know how desperate sometimes you just think you have to make the move. But Natalie Lee is also still trying to make the move because she's 0.7 seconds behind Elise Houghton, where she is being 3rd in the silver class and Houghton being the M class lead.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget there is 4 classes as well, because even though Sarah Dove is leading overall, with gold obviously the silver and the AM and the Pro-Am as well of leading in that, and the current Pro-Am leader at this moment in time is a 997 of Bonitska. Apologies if I said that name wrong, I probably did, but they're currently sitting 11 right now, doing a pretty good job to be a decent amount ahead of their nearest rival, number 8 car of Hubert, down in 12th position overall. So they'll be looking pretty comfortable, but Gobi was looking comfortable earlier, and she had a spin, so it is not over until it's over. We've seen what happened to the leaders, so hopefully it won't happen for the Pro-Am lead as well, with that comfortable lead as well. But we are approaching the final few stages of this race then. It is crunch time for these drivers, as we can see Gobi trying to make her way through the pack. Then she's got Denise Pope right in front of her as well with the bumpy curves. This is very, very tight set of corners heading towards the final corner. Then she can't make any mistakes now. If she makes any more mistakes, then it's over. So she's got to learn when to plant the car, really. She knows the championship is still at stake, and don't forget there is a 15-second penalty, so the more that she overtakes then and gets the move done, then she will able to get that deficit back, and the penalty won't be as much of a hindrance to her, I would say. So there we go. Gobi actually gets past now up into 4th place overall. Third in class on track, but due to penalties, it will drop down just a little bit as well. And we've got Roberto Leska with the Racing Point Race Simulation team is battling with May for the 104 for, I believe it's sixth in the silver class, of course. They have a lot of silver class cars in this grid today, which is great to see. One of the most competitive classes in this grid today as well. 9 points the gap was before today, and I can't call it on who's going to do well. It looks like Gobi is in fourth still. Yep, she is as well. So had Roberto Tedesco had a little bit of a slide there, and May stays in 60th position. Final 30 seconds of this race. You know, it's going to be a lot of drivers under pressure now. In particular, if you're the likes of Sarah Dove, who is leading this race by quite some margin, 6.8 seconds. She's slowing down as well. Let's just hopefully I haven't jinxed or anything. Please don't. Oh no, I hope she's got enough fuel as well. We don't want people to run out of fuel in the final few corners, but she is slowing down, I think, to make sure she crosses the line. And not having to do another lap. I think that's probably what she's doing. So, and she's probably going to have her teammate in close formation as well. So, here we go then. Andrea Book actually takes the win with Sarah Dove in second and Aaron in third position. I wonder if Sarah Dove slowed down on purpose, Laura, or did she let Book take the win, or did Sarah Dove run out of fuel? I don't know. But it is a full G podium.
We have to ask them definitely for sure if that was kind of a team strategy or a team order, but yeah, kind of fun racing what we definitely had here also in the last corners of this race. And now we do the magic in the back with the mass and sees who is really actually taking then the lead today in the different categories, where we're just trying to nail that down. But how great was this drive to see all over the place, where still in the last situations we have seen great drivers, great overtaking situations, enough kind of potential definitely here for this last round. And also the chat, thanks for just sticking with us, and also important to see and to hear what the races later on will say in our interview. And it's really great that we have so many female drivers out there, just really making it fun for us to watch, and also fun for everybody in the grids. And yeah, hopefully we get some interesting thoughts from the drivers about their races, and also let's see that everybody makes it safely back home with no fuel outages for today. But yeah, what a race. And I guess that we will have our winners shortly with us then, when everybody is in the pit lane, so that we can make the nice interviews with our drivers. What a race for the last final round here at the Nurburgring for more female races by Thrustmaster Rockets. Wow, this was awesome.
I have to say, I was not expecting that finale. I wonder if I want to hear from the teams on why they slowed down like that. I really do. I want to see if that's made a difference or anything like that. But I'm intrigued actually, because Sarah Dove is more ahead in the championship than obviously the other female race team, the number one. So that is probably an interesting predicament, to say the least, as well, as I'm purposely doing maths behind the scenes to find out who is finished where. But to be honest, I think it's quite close. I'm doing the pro maths at the moment, but I have to say it's been a great season overall, and it's just a shame that it has ended, but it's definitely ended on a good note, I can tell you that.
That's for sure, and definitely pretty great to see how we have progressed throughout the year, throughout the races, with all the great drivers on the grid. It has been a pleasure. It has made so much fun to also be commentating with you, as well with also our co-commentators before. It was David Christie and also Alex Goldschmidt, who was in the commentary box before we joined. And as we see here now, the replays of the nice starting positions from this great race start here at the Nurburgring. We just try to wait for our drivers to join us here in the commentary box in a moment. We just give them some time to make their way to the interview waiting room, and then we will see what the announcements will be for the day.
Yes, I've done the pro calculations and I can confirm, even though Gobi had that spin earlier on as well, I can confirm that I'm not sure the penalty gets added on, but we will see. If it's without the penalties, Gobi would have been. So Gobi finishes in 6th. That is interesting, but without the penalties, Gobi would have been champion. So that changes things quite a bit actually. In terms of that, but I think we'll also do the maths in the background. I think we're going to speak to the champion that we know about, of course, the AM champion. Austin, I believe, is waiting to speak, and I'll let you do that whilst I do some number crunching.
Yeah, let's start with the M class, and we just put in to our commentary box Josie Austin, who is definitely the M kind of champion for Team Cake, Angel Cake, and you will also, and I will drop, of course, your teammate into the commentary box with is Ridian Lloyd Davis. So both of us are right now with us, Josie Austin and Ridian Lloyd Davis. Congrats to winning the M class for Team Cake, Angel Cake. How is your feeling, and what a drive on the Nürburgring in the final round, and what a race!
Thank you very much. It's absolutely awesome to come away with the AM Championship. Thank you very much. We've had a real roller coaster of a season. Thankfully, we managed to save up all of our bad luck for the final round because we've had 2 spins and a disconnect. But yeah, all things considered, the rest of the season went really well. So we're very happy with our performance.
It was quite tricky, as you said, but you managed to keep the calm and also improving from the other rounds. How is your feeling actually on terms of the strength in the grid? I mean, we have seen it from the first to the last race. Everybody's really getting their heads together and making good progress, especially as you are in the teams together. How was it with you both progressing?
I mean, a lot of these people have been in the series from the beginning or from series 2, but they always manage to impress me with increasing their consistency and increasing their speed. It's been really great to see that development. It always is, and I'm hoping that we bring through another group of newcomers next season for the same exact thing. You know, we need more of this. We need more great racing between us.
Who knows, if we collect enough people, maybe we'll dominate every class with cake teams.
Good.
That's what I wanted to say. You have such a great power behind you. How often actually did you train together as a full team Cake, or is everybody really driving on its own?
We share.
Yeah. We start, it's like when me and Josie, we have, throughout the championship, because we're both strapped for time, we have one practice for maybe 2 hours. And that's us. And we try to give support to the other cake teams as well if they need advice on lines or setup.
Yeah, there's 3 core cake teams, of course, that have got the cake name, and then we've also got I think there's 3 other teams that are sort of cake involved. So we share information in our Discord and just try and give each other a bit of a pump up. That really is the most important thing, is just encouragement. I think encouragement is worth about half a second a lap, quite frankly.
Yes.
So,
exactly.
Yeah,
Perfect.
That's the most important thing.
And as you also said, teamwork makes the dream work. We just want to give your other team Cake a chance to also join us in the commentary box, which is then Sarah Fair and Sebastian Handler. And now the Cakes are together. Especially. Yay!
Hello.
Congrats on winning the Pro-Am Championship. It must be actually great to have so many great drivers within your own team. And how was it for you? I mean, this was really great that you just pulled everything together from the beginning and made your statement on the track and off track.
Thank you. Yeah, it's unfortunate we didn't have the best last race of the season, but everything up until now has just gone really well for both of us, and it's like been one hell of a season. It's been exciting all the way through, and I've loved every battle we've had and every fight we've had, and yeah. I don't know if we can have anything.
You're just puzzled with that, but it's great to see that you still have that. Although it was not the best race result in the last round, you still had fun on track, and this is most important. What we also discussed together with your teammates. Maybe we see more cakes coming into the next round and having the fun on track. Yeah, and this is pretty good. And as you said, you also drove together and you party together. I hope you have a good party then as well after the races, because you can be perfect.
I'll make sure.
That's what we wanted to hear.
I want to see cakes in Pro-Am and Am. Like, I'm so proud of what this team is and what we've become. And like, congratulations, everyone.
Couldn't have done it without you.
Absolutely.
Perfect teamwork, I would say. Congrats to you both, teams Pro-Am and M champions. And I would say, without further ado, thanks so much for you guys. And then we would give the floor to our Silver and Pro leaders. And I will give the floor now to you, Jess, to interview those fantastic people.
Okay, so I don't think Denise's teammate is in the Discord, I don't think, but Denise is here as well, so I would like to say congratulations to you, Denise, silver class champion for NSS Racing Wild Things. You really had to work for it in the last few rounds, didn't you?
Yeah, we didn't make it easy for ourselves, but no, it's so good just to kind of get to the end and like have it done. I didn't expect it at all, but it's really nice to just get to the end and have it done, as I say. So, yeah, it was a really good race as well today. So, yeah.
When you realised that Nurburgring was going to be the track that the public had decided to be the final track of the season, what were your thoughts? Were you thinking, oh yes, or were you thinking, oh no?
Actually, one of my favourite tracks in the game, and it's one that I find quite easy and quite natural to be quite quick at. So I was really pleased. Of all the choices, it was the best one for me, I think. So yeah, really pleased.
Yeah, and you had a silver class cars, didn't make it look easy for yourself as well, but your main focus wasn't really to win the race, really, wasn't it? It was to make sure that your rivals didn't pull a massive gap in the race, wasn't it?
Quite honestly, in the first stint, we overtook a on-win and kind of hoped for the win, for the class win. And then we saw that Jordan Sherratt was in the car for the pro stint, and he just drove away from us. He was just like a second a lap quicker. So we really had no hope at that point. So we just tried to bring it home as good as we can. And then when we came out for the third stint, we were right behind a on-win again. So we kind of thought maybe we could do it, but she's just a little bit too quick. So yeah, we didn't expect the class win, but we hoped for it, and then it's just nice to. I think the second is good enough for us. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely, and that's all you got to do at times as well. And what's been the highlight of your season in more female races? Was there any races where you probably that your team did the best potentially?
There's a couple of highlights. The first one is the first race at Zolder, which we won, and I just didn't expect that at all. It was like a complete surprise to me that we were able to do that. And then I think it was the third race at Spa, where we had a really good battle with Natalie Lee's team all through the race, and it was just amazing. It was a really, really good fight, very clean, good racing, and I really loved it. I enjoyed it. So they would be my two highlights, I think.
Brilliant. And before we interviewed the pro class champions, do you want to give any shout outs to people on the stream?
Just my team, really, NSN Racing, and Rob in particular, who's kind of done the pro thing really well. He's helped me to learn the bits of the tracks that I weren't particularly good at, and he's helped with the setup work. So yeah, just NSN Racing, really top lads.
Yeah, brilliant. Massive congratulations, and I'm sure you'll be celebrating tonight with you and your team. Well done. The silver class champions, NSN Racing Wild Things, with Denise Pope and Rob Tablin. Congratulations.
Yes, cheers.
Right then, it's the final class we've got to interview now. Our final class champions. They didn't make it look easy tonight with the amount of things that's happening, but with the amount of points, they still did enough. Alu, Gobi, and Bruno, congratulations, pro class champions for all female racers. Even after some of the mistakes you did tonight, you still came out on top. How do you feel?
Wow, thank you so much, Josh. Thank you very much, everyone. I feel great. Shout out to Bruno. Shout out to Jens for having an amazing season with me. I couldn't have done it without them.
Bruno, any thoughts on Gobi's performance? Obviously, you were racing tonight, knowing that obviously her other teammate wasn't here tonight. Was there any added pressure knowing that a championship was on the line? I don't think I could hear him on Discord, or is he speaking?
It was a bit unlucky, but I mean the pace was there. It was good pole position, and we had the pace all race. But it's just part of racing and part of learning and part of being better. Mistakes happen, but it was fun. It was fun for me to team up and race in this race. And nevertheless, I think we did our best and we had fun. So and obviously to Gobi to win the championship. I mean that's awesome feeling. So well done there.
Yeah, and it was a bit unfortunate for you to get that 15-second penalty there, Alu, and obviously that spin earlier on as well. Did that make you a bit nervous that you could lose the championship at that point, or did the wins you get at Kyalami and Brands Hatcher help you ease that confidence that you could still win the championship?
There's this sort of flashback type thing when you're just about to impact with someone and you think about all those things, but I regrouped myself and I found that just push on. We had a little bit of leeway in the points, so I had the ability to just put my head back down and push again. It was unfortunate that we had to spin just after that, but Bruno, for reasons like this, co-drivers are so important because they'll guide you through these difficult moments and bring you back to pace. I can't thank Bruno enough for helping me through that portion of the race.
Yeah, definitely. I wouldn't want to be in your position tonight, I have to say. So co-drivers, I would say, mean anything after that as well. And yeah, what's been the highlight of your season? I did ask the Denise Pope exactly the same question. What was your favourite race? It's got to be either Kyalami or Brands Hatch, one of the races you won, right?
Great, that's just, I'm going to put number 2. Let's start with number 2. It's going to be Monza. What a...
Yes!
Yeah. Going from the back of the field right up to the sharp end. That was a great experience, a learning experience, and number 1, of course, has to be Kyalami. It didn't look like we were, at one point it looked like we were toast, but yeah, we kept our pace up and really showed who's boss.
Yeah, and I'm sure you did absolutely fantastic in those races as well. But any shout-outs you want to give to anyone on the stream before we interview the last person?
Absolutely. I'd like to shout out to the grid. This is the best grid on ACC. This title, I absolutely believe. So shout out to all the other competitors. After that, my teammates, and after that, my supporters. Mom, if you're watching, and Benny, if you're watching, absolutely, shout out to them.
Yeah, so Bruno, do you want to give any shout outs?
Yeah, sure, why not? I want to shout out to SimGrid. I mean, you guys do a phenomenal job. Really exciting championships throughout the weeks and months, so just keep on doing what you're doing, and it's always a pleasure to race with you guys, and I look forward to hopefully racing in more events with SimGrid, so shout out to you guys.
Yes, congratulations to Matt Warren Racing, the pro class champions of More Female Racing Season 3. Congratulations to Gobi and Bruno there, congratulations.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks, everyone.
Right then, so I'll now hand over to Laura to interview our last person who's been waiting very patiently in an interview box. We may as well get her in.
Yeah, thanks so much. And we will like to welcome Sarah Doff, and she hopefully will also then speak for Olaf Safchuk, her teammate, for the GTWR female racing team, which came in a second right now. And what happened on the finish straight, Sarah? We were just so curious. What was it? Fuel or was it team strategy?
We wanted a really cool photo finish, but I slowed down too early, and Taya didn't know about it, so she overtook me.
Oh, photo finish then. No. Bad luck in that sense. But it's staying in. It's unfortunately not staying in the team. But yeah, kind of. What was the feeling you just had in that last moment?
I was like, oh wait, oh no, wait, oh no.
Yeah, it was close with you all together, and actually, that's what we have seen throughout the entire season. It was a lot of fun, in which we spoke to all the other competitors right now. The general season, I feel that the mood and the energy level is quite high, and that you also improved a lot throughout the races, and yet you had fun with Olaf Savchuk, your teammate. How was it actually for you for the entire season? How did you evolve?
Yeah, it was good fun. Even in this car, which I don't really agree with, or maybe
it's not your favorite.
Agree with me. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was good racing. I had a lot of great battles with Tanea and Alu, especially this race. And
was it actually one of your favorite tracks to Nurburgring, as it seemed that you were pretty quick, or did you had another favorite on your calendar this year?
I think my favorite track this calendar was possibly Kyalami or Brands Hatch.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm fairly good at Nurburgring, it seems. So that's good.
How actually are you happy now with the second place? I mean, this is what it normally is like. Being still on the podium, that's the most important thing, I would guess, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure what the organizers are going to do, whether they're going to put me back first or I don't know. But yeah, it's still great to be on the podium. It was a good race.
Perfect. Any last questions from you, Jess, for Sarah?
Well, I think you seem to pretty much answer it as well, but you did a very, very good job on the track today. Shame about what happened at the end there, but a massive congratulations on a full RHG esports podium there. That you must be very delighted by that.
Yeah, that's really good. Shout out to the team.
I think there's a lot of people that just realised that as well, and are probably delighted as well. So congratulations, and send best wishes to Book as well, who won the race as well, and well done to you and all the RHG teams and more female racers as well. Fantastic job this season.
Thank you.
Right then, so that unfortunately, Laura, this is the end of more female races. Sadly, this is coming to its end of an era for this season. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it? But we've had our 4 champions. Are they all deserving ones?
Yeah, exactly. And it was just a short season, actually, because we had Zolder, we had Monza, Great Tracks, Spa-Francorchamps, Kyalami, Brands Hatch, and the Nurburgring. So we still have really, really great tracks out there. And also what you said, Coach Dave Academy, they just also with together the teammates gave, I guess, good practice for our female racers. And yeah, kudos to those who just joined and who were part of this. Of course, thanks to Thrustmaster, the partner here at the SimGrid for more female racers, our sponsors, and also then don't forget to get a discount code of 10% for TM Rockets 10 to have your maybe system ramped up for a new steering wheel. And I have to say, we actually don't want to forget Thea, because unfortunately she's not in the waiting interview room, but she actually made this kind of started, and also she is kind of always really great at promoting this and getting more female races on the into the seat and behind the steering wheel. Also, I also had a chat with her and follow the YouTube channel of what she's doing as an introductory. The thanks and shout out to her. that she is really making this progress, and also that everybody else, as the other female racers said, joined luckily now this season, as they had a lot of fun, and thanks to all the teammates, they made good progress. I have to say, thanks for the SimGrid for letting me just commentate. I hope you enjoyed it. I just still working on my English lessons to put it down into more flourish words. But yeah, I really had fun also with you, Jess, and also with David together. And thanks so much for being with us here and just joining More Female Races by Thrustmaster Rockets. And I would say, Jess, for you, the last finest and famous words for closing our season here at More Female Racers.
Yes, obviously, thank you to everyone that's joined us throughout the entirety of the season. Obviously, thank you to our sponsors, Thrustmaster Rockets, as well. Thank you to, of course, David, Christie, and obviously Alex Goldschmidt that commentated some parts during the season as well. They played a big part as well. Obviously, thank you to our lovely cameraman behind the scenes, Mike, for putting the stream together. And all the stuff you're seeing is from him, so thank you very much for his hard work as well. Obviously, Michael Hamlet helping us a little bit here and there as well. Thank you to him, and obviously to Thea as well for sorting out this championship, because without her, I don't think there would be a More Female Racers championship. So we will let you enjoy the rest of the evening. Season 4, well, who knows? We don't know when we will see, but make sure you join us for some more SimGrid racing action this month. I'm sure it's going to be very, very exciting. From myself and Laura, hope you have a good evening. That was More Female Racing Season 3. Have a good evening. Goodbye.